So, building a high impact profile. Now, during the first phase of actually researching for roles, researching for jobs, and researching, you've crafted your career path, you've actually done the feasibility studies, that's market research, and then next phase is you want to actually build a high impact profile. This suits so much to someone who has had experience. But the person who has not had experience building a high impact profile and putting lots of words or maybe lots of achievements there, you're deceiving yourself. And you're actually even deceiving the company, because in the long way, it is going to play down on you. We've built CVs and people say, oh, please delete this. It's not real. It does not exist. So that is it. And then they were in a position and they said, Coach, how can I do I'm already in this position. And that is it. So one of the things you have to do is, let me just speak for a little for graduates. So you just graduated. First thing is you are crafting a CV with your internship experience, basic internship experience, and a motivational letter. You must have done the preliminary calculations, right? You must have done the preliminary calculations ahead of time. So, such as, if I'm going to apply for this company, do I live in proximity to them? So I spend less. Okay, I'm applying for a company in a capital city, but I'm far off. How do I go and work with them? Or maybe in the economic capital of my country, or maybe in an industrial zone, how do I go and work with them? So you may have to do some trade-outs, actually move there and get out of your comfort zone, move to that region, then you start applying. Okay, that's one. You've done the studies already. Before now, you craft a CV, and on that CV, as a graduate, you're actually explaining. You've crafted maybe the motivational letter. Actually, this time around, you're actually explaining that I have these certifications, I have these courses, I have this degree which I have acquired, and I will not want to stay at home. I just want to volunteer, right? Some companies do not accept you immediately, right? But remember, as I said, you just can't go to a bigger company. They know fully well. If you studied mechanical engineering or maybe something engineering and they have heavy appliances, which just a single turn on something and it goes off negative, they lost millions. So they totally don't want to see you. So you're going to startups where you build your skills from the ground up and then go drop spontaneously. You're not waiting for somebody. You just go and drop and say you want to volunteer. And I live nearby, a couple of blocks nearby, right? So they will accept. And then once they do, the next thing is you go start working and you go start volunteering. Take note, in your cover letter, in your letter, there are key things you need to write, because you can, some companies, depending in my country, right, even NGOs, you can be volunteering for 6 years without a dime. I've received a client like that. That's the highest client who gave me headache. I think by the time when I finished building her profile, I called a friend and said, "Man, let's just go out, eat something." This woman has caused me a lot of headache. But later, I could actually understand her pain. She's been volunteering with an organization for 6 years with no salary. So, so you can imagine. So that's the first thing. So you have to explain to them. You have to explain to them that at this moment, at this phase, or maybe at this time in place, and at this moment, what is happening is I do not have a salary. If the company can actually cover up my movements, have one way or two ways, right? Why I volunteer, I will be grateful. So I come to work and produce more results while I learn. Some will pay attention to that, some may not. So you pay attention to that. From there, if you're taken immediately, the first day is when you start building a high impact profile. Not 2 months, 2 years after. It's surprising. Many youths now, you're recruited, and the first thing there is this urge to go check your social media feeds, right? You need to go check what's trending, what is on trending, what is yet to trend, who is making the trend, who wants to produce a trend, who needs to produce a trend, or should I be the trend? That's not it. Within those first months, limit your phone, you limit communication, you limit access to your phone. Why? Because you're way focused. And that time you're building impact. Now, when we are building at those early phases, especially those CVs of someone who just started, many people they do not evaluate metrics. Yes, what do I mean by metrics? I got to this company when the company had this, let's say, accountancy. The company never had an accounting system. So, as a volunteer, I built, or maybe as an entry position, I built the accounting software, maybe through Excel, maybe all of that, and I built the accounting system. Yes. From there, we had to track, and they were actually never tracking. So from there, we started tracking sales from this and records from this. And then within months, we noticed that this is what was happening. We moved to another level. So you are paying attention to the details, because those details are the things that will help you in your next job after 2 years or 1 year to be recruited by another company, because numbers call attention. Yes, numbers call attention. Well, if you want to get the full video on how to go about building all of this information and putting that and following metrics, you check on the link below. You're going to actually find out, where you're going to see a guide that we've put together and completely for somebody who is just starting, or a professional who wants to move 5, 10x the salaries, right? So back to what we're explaining is, you are tracking matrices, and those matrices you're tracking is so that the next job, you can have numbers, you can have details to put on your CV that will make you more credible to be hired by a company. Remember, impact. And at that moment when you just started, you should be on almost all social media platforms professionally, right? Yeah, professionally on all social media platforms. Update the activities, or maybe the things, the impact you create for that company. If you're offering a training, you go learn some things, come and train, you share. Why? Social proof equally helps in recruiting. We'd like to get your questions in the comment box. Thank you.